Good morning. By way of announcements, there's really not a lot. We've got crew this week. Other than that, hold on, I got my little clicker. Yeah, we've got crew this week. That's really it, all that's going on. Hopefully you guys are getting together safely and doing your own thing, getting together online, small groups. If you guys want to do something, we can figure something out, but I have nothing to really announce other than crew. Crew, some of you guys are like, what is crew? I'm brand new here. I don't even know what's going on. Crew is our Wednesday night, 6:45 to 8:15. It's our small group time. This week, we're going to decide what we're going to do for the next couple of months, so we're going to go through Right Now Media. P.S. If you are in your seats, you don't have to mask unless we're singing. I know there's some new people here. That's your choice if you want to. No judgment there. You guys can wear your mask. So if you're seated, our requirement is you can take your mask down unless we're singing, because we know when you guys sing, you guys are so loud and vibrant when you sing. Everybody's like, you're so loud and vibrant that you spit, and spitting is bad. So let's go right into our game. Give me that first slide in the game. All right, so yeah, it was definitely a dumpster fire in 2021, right? Anybody make a New Year's resolution? We're going to talk about that a little bit today. Do you know what a New Year's resolution is? Did you guys make one? You're like, you know what, I survived 2020, I'm not making any more resolutions. Anybody make one? Did you guys make one? Yes? All right, we'll talk a little bit about that. So it wasn't all that bad. I had a son this year in 2020, so I was pretty excited. That was actually a decent thing to happen. So I had a baby boy. So what are you wearing, Alabama fans? Okay. Just saying. They're just yelling out Roll Tide over here. 10 days. All right. So it wasn't all that bad. Maybe for some of you it was rough, but I want to play a little game. Let's see if you remember a little bit about 2020. Just a little bit. I got a Buckeye fan right behind you. He's about to flick you in the ears. No, don't flick him in the ears. I just told a middle schooler he's going to flick somebody in the ears. He's going to do it. All right. So A, B, C, D. Very simple. Stand up. A, B, C, D. If you don't want to play, stay seated. That's fine. And how we do A, B, C, D is A, B, C, D. We stay in our chairs so that you don't have to run to sides and cross everybody's path, licking each other's cheeks as you go by, because that's what teenagers do. What commercial spacecraft launched its first astronaut into orbit in 2020? Don't yell out the answer, everybody gotta take it. So, and remember, this is how we go. A, turn this way if you think it's B, turn around if you think it's C, and face that way if you think it's D. It's a big old loop. What commercial spacecraft launched its first astronauts into orbit? They didn't land on the moon or anything like that. They just went into the outer rim. They're the first commercial. All right, you guys ready? You guys can see the back TV if you need the answer. The answer is SpaceX. If you were facing the back of the room, you are still in. Your next question is, while an opera in Spain was unable to perform to a live audience, it instead performed to what in its seats? Again, A, B, C, D. Plants, cardboard cutouts like every sporting event ever, video screens, or just the crews and the extras. It was just them. All right? It was the first time this had happened, and everybody's like, that's a good idea. We'll do that. All right, you guys ready? Everybody made their choice? Plants. Did anybody stay in? Did you guys stay in? Yeah? Oh. They're like, we wanted to be out. Dang it. Plants. They sang to plants. Weird. What kids game did Netflix enact as a real game show? Go Fish, Duck Duck Goose, Red Rover, Floor is Lava. Everybody else that had Netflix is like, oh, I can't believe I got Outlast. Do you know what it is? You're gonna. All right, you guys are gonna go to B and D, Duck Duck Goose, and Floor is Lava. Oh no, wait, what are you doing? C. You're going D. D, Floor is Lava for the win. So Josh, make sure you hit the prize bin. Let's go through a couple more of these. What Broadway musical released a live movie? They're like, oh, that was easy. Cats, because, well, Taylor Swift was in it, so everybody knows that. Wasn't she? Yes, I said, it came out.
So there was 2 right answers on
Oh,
that.
there was 2. Well, nobody was in it, so it doesn't matter. So they're all losers. I'm just kidding. Which singer swept the Grammys winning awards in 2020? Who was it? Who was it? I think it was Billy. I didn't look at these answers. It was Billy. Well, I don't like her music anyway, so. Which of the following was actually shown in theaters and not directly to streaming? Nobody cares because you guys watch them all. What is the most watched show on Netflix in 2020? This is... you guys know you guys watched it. Settle down. No, you're wrong. Money Heist was the most watched show. Which of the following was not a world record set in 2020? Most soccer penalties taken in 24 hours, most billboard balls held in one hand, most hula hoops rotating around. I put bum in there. In 3 minutes, and largest peanut. American Variety. Largest peanut, 2020. It doesn't have any pesticides or growth hormones on it. What is the most streaming song of 2020? Dance, Monkey, Don't Start Now, The Box, or Blinding Lights? What is it? Do you think it's The Box? You guys are wrong a lot. It's that song that's now in your head. Which industry is the most successful small business in 2020? Auto repair, food trucks, personal trainers, or electronics repair? Auto repair. Nobody went anywhere. How do you fix your car? Is that it? All right, that was it. All right, praise and worship team.
Good morning, guys. Let's stand up and worship this morning. Glad you guys could be here. Excited to worship with you today. Here we go. Dwight, can you pause that for me? It's the wrong song. Please.
You want to raise the hallelujah first?
Yeah. It's the new tech guy. Sorry, guys. storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. Up from the ashes, hope will arise. Death is defeated, the King is alive. Sing a little louder. 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 In the presence of my enemies. Sing a little louder. Louder than the unbelief. Sing a little louder. My weapon is a melody. Sing a little louder. As heaven comes to fight for me. Sing a little louder. 'Cause I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear our praises roar. Up from the ashes, hope will arise. Death is defeated, the King is alive. I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. Up from the ashes, hope will arise. Death is defeated, the King is alive. And I raise a hallelujah. 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 All right, I'm bringing back an oldie, but I need you guys to like wake up a little bit. Holy cow. You go ahead and play.
Hey, totally.
Somebody's got to wake these kids up,
I
man.
stayed up last 3 days in a row.
That's true. I haven't seen these guys since last year. They were just as tired last year. Yeah, I was buried beneath my shame. You could carry that kind of weight. It was my tomb till I made. And I was breathing but not alive. And all the failures I tried to hide, it was my turn till I made. You called my name and I ran out of that grave. Out of the darkness into your glorious day. You call my needed shelter. I wasn't nothing, but you called me to see the sin fading. When I was broken, you were my healing. And your love is the air that I'm breathing. I never knew until my eyes were open. 'Cause when you call my name, I lay out that bed. I love the darkness into your glorious day. You call my name, and I ran out that bed. I love the darkness into your glorious day. Whoa. Let's pray before Dwight preaches this morning. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for another year, another chance to get together and worship you. And God, as we move past 2020 and into 2021, we're excited for what you're going to do and excited for all the ways you're going to carry us through, just like you did last year. And God, be with Dwight as he brings us this message this morning. Help us to hear from you today. In your name we pray.
You have too much fun doing that, don't you?
Somebody's got to.
I'm gonna blame it on video games and late night sleepovers. What's up? All right. Yeah, we'll go with that. All right. So, good New Year's. Buckeyes and national championship game. Yeah, I know. Pretty exciting. So, Penn State fans, it's okay. You're going to lose to the national champion, so it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. At least you can say you got something going for you. All right, so before we get started, I asked you guys if have you ever made a New Year's resolution? Like, I'm going to bench 250 this year. I'm going to, guys are all over there. Girls, I don't know what resolutions you make. You made one? Okay, so some people made. Have you ever, not just this year, ever? Do you know what at least it is? Can I get some nods? A resolution is this year I'm going to do better. It's not going to be 2020. It's not going to be awful. I'm going to do something. I'm going to make. And so originally I wanted to do a series on the Olympics, but then I realized the Olympics is actually going to happen. So we're going to still do the series. And hopefully, remember when I first came here? Some of you guys remember this. When I first came here, we went out to Welty Road Park and we did the Olympics, the youth group Olympics. Did you remember that? We had the knocker balls out there and we did airsoft, part of a relay race where, that's more Winter Olympics where they kind of ski to things and then I don't know who could, breakdancing's in the Olympics this year. So you still got a chance, Josh. You just got to sharpen it up and then you can, no? All right. So I don't know how that's an Olympic sport, but I mean, it's cool. Who chooses the music? I want to know that. Is it in Russian? Is it in Canadian? Who chooses the hip hop music? Do you choose your own? Can there be explicit words in it? I don't know. So I found this online. It's actually the top 10 list of worst New Year's resolutions. There's a bunch of teenagers in Texas. They got together and they're like, let's talk about probably the worst things that we can make a New Year's resolution. Some of their small group leaders and stuff in there as well, because you guys didn't do it, so I took theirs. I resolved to drive by the gym at least twice a week. Not go in, I'm just going to drive by it. And luckily for you, it's on the way to work. So I'm just going to drive. Or if you actually end up go back to school, maybe you'll walk by it and be like, hey, they're lifting. Make you feel better. I resolved to save money by picking my lunch out of insert your small group leader or maybe even teacher's beard and just surviving that way and saving your money. They must have a small group leader with a big beard that gets food in it a lot. I don't know if I'd eat out of my own beard. Sometimes I save some breadcrumbs. Just kidding, I don't do that. I resolved to find fame and fortune by skipping school and focusing on my YouTube channel. Who thinks that's a good idea? We're just gonna, I'm just gonna go $1 million bill with my YouTube. This school's not paying off. I resolved to stop wetting my bed and blaming it on my brother. The cat is so much more believable. Probably should have some conversations if that's you at this age. I resolved to get more in touch with nature by petting a grizzly bear in the wild. You can tell middle schoolers came up with most of these. They're just like, yeah, let's just throw this out there and see if anybody... I resolved to have less clutter in my home by selling my sister's stuff on eBay. That seems like a pretty decent way to buy and make some money. I tell you what, you guys, because I put it up there, I get 10% and you guys can keep the rest. Not a big deal. I resolved to use more deodorant. It's easier than doing laundry. You will quickly understand that, like, if you use deodorant, the smell test works and you can wear it again, guys. Definitely a valuable lesson, especially college. I resolved to invite pro athletes to youth groups so we can finally beat insert that kid, the athletic kid in your group at games. I think it's Mr. Nathan at carpet ball that everybody keeps trying to like whoop, and he's taking care of business. So I don't think maybe there's professional carpet ball players, but I don't think we got rid of the tennis ball table because you guys all thought you were like home run derby, like you could actually play Olympic tennis and
Ping pong.
Table tennis. Settle down. It's in the Olympics, and they'll get mad at you for that. You don't know how many times I went on like up in the like ceiling tiles of the small group rooms, and like 8 balls just came falling down on top of me because of you guys. I resolved to become a Kardashian. I don't know who came up with this one in this group. I'll take the money and not the work, if that's okay. I don't want the plastic surgery. I just show me the money. I resolved to work on my physique till I look like The Rock, or insert the name of the student or leader, whichever is easier. I don't like, some of these people are like, I don't know, until I look like Josh, I guess. I don't know, whatever. He's the biggest guy in here, and I mean, like, biggest guy. I think I could give you guys a run for your money. Devin, maybe you work out, bro, right? All right, whatever. All right, so enough of stupidity. Let's get into resolution runner is what I want to talk to you today. It's about making a resolution and actually doing something about it. And so we make our New Year's resolutions. We talk about, hey, 2021 is going to be better than any other year because last year was awful, and so anything has to be better than last year. Making a resolution isn't so. When we make a resolution, actually, here, I'll give you the first slide. 80% of all New Year's resolutions will be abandoned by January 10th. Some of you are like, I made a New Year's resolution. You'll quit by next Sunday. And I think that's why a lot of people don't make them, because they're like, oh, I failed last year, and I failed the year before, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to fail again. Unless it's something good, like I resolved to eat. Have anybody taken the Lane's Burger Challenge, where like they give you the 50 pounds of meat, and you know, I'm going to take that challenge this year. I resolved to do that. You might actually do that. But 80% of people who make a resolution by next Sunday will have given up already. 10 days. It's not that hard. Why do you think people quit? Seriously, it's a question to you guys. Why do you think people quit? Motivation. Loss. What else? Why do people quit on their resolution? I'm going to do something better for myself. I'm going to be amazing. I'm going to learn to fly. You're comfortable in your old routine. That something new, you're like, oh, that messes up my routine. Or that commitment is too much. I like that first word. What is the biggest reason for a failed attempt? Most people will say motivation or a schedule. It affected me too much that I'm not willing to make the commitment. The motivation. What motivates you? All right, so I'm going to use track and cross country because that's what I ran. That was my sport. I was a bench warmer, so I don't have, I wasn't motivated even to do that. I'm like, here's your water, dude. I got the jersey, whatever. But what I was actually interested in doing was band and cross country and track in high school. So yes, this is an old, is that me? Did I do that? Can you go back to? That was probably me. There you go, motivation. So I'm going to relive, I'm an old dude reliving his high school days. I get it, but that's what I got. So that's what I'm going to give you. Motivation. I ran, to get into cross country, I ran and track. Wasn't because I loved running at the time. I wasn't like, you know what, running for hours at a time, 100 miles a week sounds awesome. It's great. There was a girl there, and she liked to do that. And so suddenly I was motivated to run. And then all of a sudden I actually won my first race. And I'm like, whoa, I can win at this too? So there was a girl and I won. And then I started winning. And all of a sudden that felt good. And so I was motivated to run because I started beating my teammates, like these seniors. And I was a sophomore and I was winning. And I'm like, this is amazing. And so I ran some more, and all of a sudden, every race, it wasn't the excitement of like, hey, I might actually win, or I might get a little cute medal that they give you that was $1.50 on the clearance rack that they give you. Because they never give you good medals. I started to run out of fear. I didn't want to lose my title. Like, I was always winning against my teammates. And then all of a sudden I started running out of fear and I ran harder. And then all of a sudden, like, I wasn't excited to run anymore because I knew at the end of every cross-country meet, I would throw up. Like, I ran so hard that it made me sick. And so all of a sudden my motivations changed through my running career, but I kept running. And I get into the track season. I love track. I ran the 400. Everybody know what 400 is? 400 and 800. It's once around the track as fast as you can go. It's not a dash. It is an all-out sprint. 800's a little bit slower in high school. If you watch the Olympics, it's a lot faster than you would think. Those boys are booking. And girls, equal opportunity here. They're running fast because the girls in the Olympics can beat me too. So I was excited to run. So I'll share one track meet that motivation switched in the track meet. So I was dating a young lady at the time. Not that other girl. It was a different one this time. Settled down. I was older at this time. And so my coach introduced me to a young lady that lived about an hour away through a track meet. And we started dating. This was when like online just started, so we emailed each other. There was no like Skyping or FaceTiming or anything like that. We like emailed and wrote letters, sprayed it with cologne and sent it off in the mail. I know. I know, it's lame. I get it, whatever. But if you send a girl a letter in the mail and you handwrite it out nowadays, they'd be like, that's cute. I think that's cute because you took time to do it. If you spray it with your cologne, if you actually wore cologne, that would be even better. But rub some of your deodorant on it and you're like, I've never used that. That's gross. So my motivation that meet, I was going to get to see her. It was a surprise meet where we were going to show up on a meet. So I was happy. I was like, where is she? I'm so excited to see her in person. I couldn't find her the whole meet, but I was running a great, my 4 races were the 4x4, 4x8, 400, and 800. So just a lot of like once or twice around the track. And I was having a fantastic meet. I was doing really well. We were getting lots of points. And it comes down to the 4x400. Every track meet ends in the 4x400. It's a relay, 4 guys run once around the track. Winner takes all. And in this race, it was winner takes all. We were tied. It was a 2-way team. And we were whoever won. And so I was really excited, but I hadn't found her the whole meet. I couldn't find her. I don't know. We were at their school. I couldn't find her. So I'm searching. We're over by the wall stretching. And I look over the rail into the parking lot. So the rest of the meet, I was like running in love, just excited. You ever be motivated to do something because of that person? Yeah, everybody's shaking their hands over, yeah. Girls are like, on the fence here. So I look over the rail, I'm doing the stretch over the rail, and I'm looking down into their parking lot. And there's a reason why I couldn't find her the whole meet. And I knew who she was because I knew the number on the back of her jersey. Yeah, that's all I saw. That's all I saw. He was buying a truck. He had a truck. I had a truck too. That race was no longer run out of happiness. That race was run out of pure rage. We got to the line, nobody wanted to talk to me. They're like, what is wrong with Dwight? So in this meeting, no joke. And you know how like sometimes you want to old people are like, we walked uphill 8 miles both ways, the embellished story. No joke. When I was always the anchor, the last person to run, and the track. So they had already run through the first corner of the track. They were that far ahead of me. And I was so mad and so filled with rage that when I took the baton, I ended up passing the other dude in the other corner and beat him by a good 10 yards. Whooped him. My motivation was rage, anger. My coach was like, listen, if you ran that fast any other time, you'd qualify for states today. Because I was motivated not from happiness. We're motivated by a lot of things, right? Things motivate us. Our emotions drive us. And so I want to talk about that a little bit today as it relates to the Bible, because you guys are going through a phase in life in which you're figuring out your emotions and what motivates you and why you want to do the things you want to do. Is it because of a girl? Is it because you actually like to do the things you do? Is it because your friends are involved in it, but maybe that's not what I want to do with my future, but for right now I'll dabble around in this dance and video games and sports and something like that because my friends are into it. Maybe like these guys are in the bandwagon with Alabama. Maybe next year they'll be Buckeyes fans because they're gonna get whooped. We're gonna probably get trounced next week. I'm gonna be like, me. I'm gonna eat those words. But anyway, I don't care. It's okay. The fun part about it is we are motivated by a lot of things. We're motivated about why I lived in Ohio. And so I'm motivated as a Buckeye fan because I lived there. I marched there. I did things like that. You guys are from Pennsylvania and your families, your motivation to do something has a lot of influences, but ultimately it's your decision what motivates you. And I want to stop real quick and talk about a couple of guys from the Bible. As we go through this series, it's going to be what motivates us, what happens when we stumble. So next weekend we're going to talk about that stumble, that sin, that brokenness. What happens when we stumble, and do we continue on with the race, or do we give up? And then we'll wrap it up the last week. So we got 3 weeks into this one, but what motivates you? And so the story is from John 20:1-8. Jesus has just died. He's put in the tomb, and all of a sudden there's these ladies that went to take care of the tomb, and they notice that Jesus is gone. He's not in the tomb. And so they run back to the tomb, or back to the disciples and say, he's gone. And all of a sudden, so what motivated me to run was girls, rage, joy. I actually liked it for a little while. Most of it, I ran in college too. I enjoyed it. But what motivates you towards Jesus? And for these guys, it was early in the first day. Many of you guys have heard this story. This is kind of, we're going to get to Easter, and many of you guys have heard this story. Early in the first day of the week, while it was still dark, anybody do like sports or something where you have to like wake up early and go to it? You know what I'm talking about? You have to like the lifting session or 2-a-days or something like that where you're like, I love this sports, but 6:30? What is wrong with my coach? Okay, some of you guys know what I'm talking about. Early on the first day of the week, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene went to the tomb and saw the stone had been removed from the entrance. So she came running to Simon Peter and the other disciples, the one Jesus loved, and said, they have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we don't know where they've put him. Immediately, I can imagine if you love something so much and then all of a sudden it was taken from you, you don't know where it's at. Your motivation is, I need to understand. You guys are going through a series of life where you're figuring out, I need to understand. Why was 2020 super crazy? Why doesn't she like me? Why didn't I get the grades even though I studied? Why? You start answering questions, and so your motivations start getting mixed in your emotions, and that's what happens here. Their motivation and their emotions combine, and so Peter and the other disciples start for the tomb. Both were running. They were so tied up in their relationship with Jesus and finding the answer and understanding what could have made this happen that affected something I loved. And they were running, but the other disciple outran Peter and reached the tomb first. First of all, Peter needs to work out a little bit more. He just got beat. He bent over and looked in the strips of linen laying there, but it did not go in. Then Simon Peter came along behind him and went straight in the tomb. He saw the strips. He loved it so much. There was like rules and regulations about going into the tomb, and Peter's like, I don't care. I'm going in. I don't care about the smell. I need to understand what happened to God. I need to understand what happened to Jesus. I need to understand it. So his motivation, he wasn't motivated by the rules and the regulations. He wasn't motivated by anything else. He was motivated by the relationship he had with that person. And he saw the strips of linen laying there, as well as the cloth that had been wrapped around Jesus' head. The cloth was still lying in its place, separate from the linen. Finally, the other disciples who had reached the tomb first also went inside. So people were finally like, all right, if he's in there, I'm going in there, whatever. You know, they followed their friends. And so his motivation to go in was like, Peter's in there, I'm going to go in there. Who had reached the tomb first also inside. He saw and believed. There's also another story right towards the end of Jesus being on this earth, and Peter is out on a boat. We've actually done a little bit of a sermon series on this, where Peter's out on a boat, and Jesus finally, they throw the nets over and they pull in a ton of fish, and Peter's like, that's Jesus. He finally realizes that's Jesus, and he doesn't wait for the boat to come into shore. He throws off his cloak, dives in, and runs to Jesus. His relationship with Jesus is all that mattered to him. He didn't care about being indignant, the rules and laws and regulations that are out there. His motivation was Jesus. And so my question for you guys today, as you get into small groups, is a relationship with God not good enough reason to start a resolution to know him better? You guys have been to church, many of you most of your life, maybe not, maybe some of you guys, this is one of the first couple of times you guys have been here. That's cool. We get it. We know that people start in all different levels of life. But my question to you is a relationship with God, the one who created, who designed you, who wants to be your best friend, wants to give you good things, wants to, when you mess up, discipline you, but discipline you out of love in a cool way. Like, God really finds interesting ways to discipline us, to bring us back on track. Isn't a relationship with God not a good enough reason to start a resolution to know him better? This year, in 2021, we have all kinds. I decided to join a track team and run hundreds of miles, 100 miles a week, almost 100 miles a week, between cross country and track, 100 miles a week, because of a girl. And the potential of a relationship. The potential. And she didn't even know I existed at the time. The potential of a relationship. We do all kinds of crazy things at the potential of glory, at the potential of a relationship, at a potential of something good or beneficial happening to us. We're willing to make commitments to do that at the potential of a reward. God's saying, I've already given you a reward. You can live in it daily. I wrote the story of your life. I love you so much. Why am I not good enough to have a full-on, not just like, hey, I made it Sunday. Hey, what's up, God? How you doing? All right, peace. A full-on relationship. Why am I not good enough for you to commit some pain, some sacrifice, some time, some energy? Why can't you make a resolution for me, who I gave all on the cross for you? And so that's my challenge today in a resolution. And as you talk about resolutions, why not him? Why not this year? Why not start? And so with that, let me pray, and you guys can get in small groups. God, you truly are a wonderful God. You died on the cross. You love us so much. You knew and numbered the hairs on our heads, the days in our lives. You knew the innermost workings of our hearts, who you wanted to put in our lives. You put all of that together. Help us to realize a relationship with you will clarify a lot of the anger, frustration, heartache, pain. It'll clarify these students' lives. It'll clarify who they are and who you made them to be if they'll only engage you and seek after those answers. So God, thank you for dying on that cross. Help us to make a resolution that relates to loving you. We ask all this in your Son's name. All God's people said? All right, small groups, if you don't know where you're going, stop up here. I'll get you there.